Hello, everyone. Welcome to Easy English Talks podcast. Today, we're doing a deep dive. It's specifically for you guys, all those English learners out there. We're focusing on motivation, those tips and tricks that'll give you that extra little push to keep going on your language journey. I mean, we all know learning a new language, it can be challenging, but it is so rewarding.
It really is.
So we've got this whole stack of really fascinating sources here, and they've got some really unique approaches, like how to, turn those mistakes. You're going to make them.
Of course.
How to turn those into stepping stones.
Yeah.
And how to celebrate those small wins.
To keep you motivated.
Yeah. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's dive in. So, one thing that really stood out to me from looking at all these sources was the importance of your why.
That's right.
Before you even start really understanding why you're learning English.
Yeah. It's kind of like, when you're building a house, you need that really strong foundation, to hold everything up.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Your why is that foundation for your language learning journey. It's got to be solid.
It's got to be strong. And it's got to be personal.
Right. It could be anything. Like, are you learning English to travel the world, to get a better job, to connect with people from different cultures? Whatever it is, you need to identify that why and hold on to it.
One of the sources actually shared a story about, I think it was a really successful entrepreneur.
Oh, wow.
Who decided to learn English, specifically so they could connect with international clients.
Oh, that makes sense.
And, for them, it wasn't about perfect grammar or, sounding exactly like a native speaker.
Right.
It was about communication.
Yeah.
Building those relationships.
Yeah.
And ultimately expanding their business globally.
It's about opening those doors that English can provide.
It is. And that really resonated with me.
Me too. I mean, that story just shows you that when you have a strong why, the motivation just comes naturally.
It follows.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what else I thought was really interesting was this idea of intrinsic motivation.
Oh, tell me more about that.
So basically, it's about finding the joy in the actual process of learning.
So it's not just about the end goal. It's about enjoying the journey itself.
Right. Exactly. Like if you're genuinely interested in the English language, whether it's through watching movies, listening to music, chatting with people from other cultures, the motivation, it just kind of flows.
It becomes a part of you.
It does. It's not this like chore you have to do.
Right.
It's something you want to do.
Exactly. It becomes a hobby, something you're passionate about.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
But okay, let's be real for a second. There are going to be days when even the most dedicated learner hits that wall.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Right. Those moments where you feel stuck or discouraged. One of the sources called it the motivation valley.
Oh, the motivation valley.
Such a good term, right?
I love that.
So what do we do when we find ourselves, down there?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's inevitable that you'll face those dips in motivation. But the key is to have strategies in place to climb back out. One expert actually suggested keeping a success journal, a place to write down all those victories, even the small ones.
Oh, I like
Like,
that.
did you finally master that tricky grammar rule? Write it down. Did you have a short conversation with a native speaker and, you didn't completely freeze up? Celebrate it.
Put it in the journal.
Put it in the journal. It's all about shifting that focus from what you haven't achieved yet to what you have.
I love that. It's so positive.
It is.
And it actually reminds me of another source that talked about the importance of reframing mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of seeing them as failures, we need to see them as opportunities.
I like that. Opportunities for growth. Because every mistake is a chance to learn and improve.
For sure.
There's this concept I came across called desirable difficulty.
Desirable difficulty.
I know it sounds kind of strange, but it basically means that the challenges we face in learning actually make us stronger.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, think about it. If everything was super easy, would we really learn and remember it?
Probably not.
No, we need those challenges to push us.
To make those connections in our brain, to really solidify that learning.
Absolutely. It's like working out a muscle. The more you challenge it, the stronger it gets.
One of the sources actually brought up Thomas Edison.
Oh, yeah.
All those failed attempts.
Yeah.
Before he successfully invented the light bulb, can you imagine if he had given up after the first try or even the 100th try?
The world would be a very different place.
Right.
It's mind-blowing to think about.
No light bulbs. So yeah, perseverance is key.
It really is.
And that's where building that consistent learning habit comes in.
Yes, consistency is so important.
It is.
And it doesn't have to be hours of studying every single day. Small, consistent efforts over time can make a huge difference.
Yeah, you don't have to overwhelm yourself.
Right, exactly. One source actually suggested the Pomodoro Technique.
Oh, the Pomodoro Technique.
Yeah, have you heard of it?
I have.
Yeah, so it's basically 25 minutes of focused study, followed by a short 5-minute break. And you just repeat that cycle.
It's so manageable.
It is, and it keeps you from getting burnt out.
Even I could do that.
Exactly. Anyone can do it.
And it actually ties into another point that I saw come up a lot in the sources, which is making English a part of your daily life.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
So it's not just about sitting down with a textbook. It's about finding ways to integrate English into your everyday routine.
So it becomes more natural, less of a chore.
Exactly. So, for example,
Yeah.
watching a movie with subtitles, that's study time.
Boom, you're learning.
Listening to an English podcast on your commute,
Yeah.
you're making progress.
Exactly. And it's enjoyable. You're not even realizing you're studying.
Right. It's all about finding those little opportunities.
It is. It is.
And, speaking of journeys, one of the sources actually highlighted the idea that learning a new language like English, it can actually change your mindset.
Oh, wow. How so?
Well, you become more open to new experiences,
Yeah, makes sense.
more adaptable to different situations.
Yeah.
And more resilient when you face challenges.
So it's like you're not just learning a language, you're developing valuable life skills.
It's true. You really are.
That's pretty amazing.
And that brings us to another really important point that I saw emphasized in a lot of the sources, the power of belief. Believing in yourself, believing in the process,
Yeah.
and believing that you can actually achieve fluency.
It's so important to have that self-belief.
It is.
Because if you don't believe in yourself, who will?
It's true. You have to be your own cheerleader.
Exactly.
And there was this one quote that really resonated with me. It said, "The limits of your language are the limits of your world."
Oh.
Isn't that powerful?
It is. It really makes you think
Yeah.
about all the possibilities that open up when you break down those language barriers.
Imagine the people you can meet, the places you can go, the things you can achieve.
It's incredible.
So if you're listening to this, here's the takeaway. Learning English, it's a journey. It's not a race. You're going to hit some bumps in the road, but with the right approach. Finding your why, embracing those mistakes, celebrating every single step forward, and most importantly, believing in yourself. You can achieve fluency.
You absolutely can.
And remember, it's not just about fluency. It's about the doors it opens, the connections you make, and the person you become along the way.
It's a transformative experience.
It really is. So think about what excites you about learning English. Let that be your fuel. What doors will it unlock for you? Let that image motivate you to keep going.
Keep pushing forward.
Don't forget to subscribe and share the video with your friends.